everyone, this is Chris. So I'm looking at this week's discussion question as to whether governments have the responsibility to reduce greenhouse gases, or if individual citizens have a responsibility to contribute in this effort. Um, I believe it needs to be the individual citizen needs to help in this scenario. The governments can do a lot of things to reduce it on their own. They can regulate utilities and incentivize clean technologies. They can they incentivize car manufacturers to produce more energy efficient vehicles. They can choose to help subsidize food that's sourced more or that's grown more sustainably or sourced more sustainably. They can do a lot of these things. Um, but at the end of the day, if the consumer doesn't support some of these efforts, the effect that the government can have is very limited. For example, if they incentivize electric vehicles, um, but people don't want to buy them because the gas version is either still cheaper, or there's concerns about maintenance or reliability. Ultimately, the incentive provided by the government or the incentive program provided by the government is going to have a limited effect in how much they can actually reduce the greenhouse gases. Similarly, with food, the government can provide incentives by which to get people to eat more sustainably grown products, food, vegetables, whatnot. They can incentivize um, people eat less beef by putting taxes and stuff on the beef, or incentivizing more sustainable options. But if people still want beef and they're willing to pay for it, the ability for the government to dissuade that is going to be very limited, because ultimately, if the consumer wants it, these companies are going to produce it. So there's only so much beyond that the government can do to control that if the consumer isn't buying in on their side. Um, that being said, those things that the government can do to help these things. They can incentivize more efficient cars and technologies. They can incentivize better food choices. They can build um, safer bike paths that allow citizens to commute using their bike more. A lot of they can help design cities that are built around more sustainable traveling options. So there's a lot of things the government can do to help, but ultimately it's going to require some buy-in from the citizens in order to kind of make it to achieve maximum benefit from these options.